I had myself a little double feature tonight, and tonight I got through The Horseman, and I ended up finding this little gem for $2, a toonie. That's $2 Canadian, and this does have a Blu-ray release, but I really couldn't pass up this DVD for $2. I mean, it's an absolute no-brainer. I'd never heard of this film until I saw it at the place where I was shopping at, and for that price, I thought amazing blind buy. The cover looks awesome. It's a revenge film. I didn't know it was Australian, but it seemed right up my alley. It seemed violent, brutal, raw, extreme, and it was all of that. So I decided to give it a whirl, and I absolutely had a great time with this film. This film is gritty, and it is bleak and dark and raw as hell. This is the way revenge films should be done always. It's ruthless, it is violent, and it's just so well done. I mean, the characters in it are believable. It gets really intense, especially because it doesn't really play on like heroes and villains too much. You kind of have everyone really being a villain. In retrospect, like, you know, nobody's real good in this movie. Nobody's really doing the right thing, but everybody has their motives, kind of thing. And what happens is it kind of has two plots going on with the same character because there's flashbacks and present day going back and forth. And what happens is this guy, he lost his daughter. She died. They basically found heroin and like cocaine in her body and traces of semen as well. So you could tell that something very violent and horrific happened to her. This guy gets sent a videotape in the mail, and this videotape is a porno that his daughter was in. So basically, in the last moments of her life, she was doing an adult film, and they were abusing her, and the people behind the film were just pigs, pretty much, and taking advantage fully of this girl. So the father takes it upon himself to go find everybody involved with this film and everybody involved with his daughter's death, and search for everybody by torturing one person after the other, and finding his way to, you know, everybody involved one at a time. This film really plays out section by section, I would say. Like, it's like segment after segment of this father torturing somebody, and then it'll be another segment of somebody else, and onward until it reaches the end of the film where you have quite a hefty situation happening, where I'll just say, to keep it spoiler free, the father ends up being caught by the big guys who know about the murders that this father took place or did along his way, so that they start kind of taking revenge on him. So the revenge kind of reverses itself, and it really goes into some interesting directions. And the other plot, I should say, is that he's basically driving this young girl who's approximately the same age as his late daughter was. And I don't know exactly where he was driving her to, but she's basically a drifter. She's maybe a runaway, and she's young. It's revealed that she's pregnant, but she's basically trying to just start a life of her own, escape her family, and just do the best she can. So this guy hitches her a ride basically while these flashbacks are happening, and they form a really tight and kind of father-daughter like bond themselves. And he relates to her because she's obviously reminding him a lot of his late daughter, and she relates to him because he's a help for her, and he's, you know, has a head on his shoulders and is not, you know, some creep trying to take advantage of her, kind of thing. And they just help each other out psychologically and emotionally throughout this journey. And after he's done all this murderous rampage revenge stuff in his past, before, you know, the climax, like I mentioned, where everybody starts to gang up on him, and it turns into kind of more violence, you could say. And she obviously has no idea, like during this road trip when he picked her up, she has no clue that he has this violent past where he just took revenge on a bunch of people and killed a bunch of motherfuckers until shit starts getting real, and then it's revealed to her that this guy is a lot more violent than she thought he was. Like I said, the brutality in this film is real. This guy likes to torture his victims involving their penises. And I'll just say there's one scene. They don't show they don't show it happening. A lot of stuff is off screen, but it's suggested, which sometimes can be worse. Having the suggestion in your mind and having the scene having your mind make up stuff sometimes can be a little bit even more disturbing. But I'll just say there is a scene involving a dude's dick and a basketball hand pump. And I'll just say that the thought of having anything put into a pee hole makes me cringe. Anyway, this film goes there, and if you like revenge films and if you like brutal ones, there's this Australian film that I also want to watch, which is a revenge film that I forget the name of right now, but I always see it come up in horror channels and horror reviews, and it's Australian too, so it sounds pretty similar to this one, and apparently it's one of the like over the top violent ones. So I'll have to check that film out. I'll have to find the name of it again. But when it comes to a brutal and raw film, this is a high suggestion for me. The cinematography is very realistic and bleak. Like it's got quite some shaky camera. The color palettes are more like darkish brownish gray, so it's a grim film. Like it has this kind of cloudy day feel, and it has that depressing atmosphere which you kind of need in a film like this. Like there's no color palettes, there's no bright scenes or anything like that. Everything is dark and grim, and the people at the end of the movie, by the time like the third act starts to roll around, it just starts to get brutal, and these people are animals. Like the violence portrayed in this film is just notorious. It's just absolutely notorious. It's not for the faint of heart, and it's certainly not a film that you want to see if you want to watch something happy or cheerful. There's even some points in the film where you're wondering, like, is this film going to take like a real turn? Like, are we going to have like a happy ending here, or is something really, really, really fucked up and dark going to happen? It takes a few of those turns and twists, and it's not the happiest of endings, I'll say that. But I'm not going to obviously say exactly what happens and what happens to who and what goes on or anything like that, because that would be spoilers, and these are spoiler-free reviews. I enjoyed the watch, so I recommend them for you guys as well. So the Horseman, yeah, I wanted to say a Horseman for some reason. The Horseman is awesome. It's too bad that this actually didn't come with subtitles, because there is quite a bit of Aussie slang in here that I did have a little bit of trouble catching. So it would have been cool to have the subs in certain moments. But still, it didn't take away from anything. It actually added to the film, in my opinion. Yeah, I loved it. And 4.5 out of 5, and probably 88 or 89 out of 100, something like that. Why out of 100? Because I hate decimals. And yeah, it's a cool flick for sure, and very, very brutal, like I said. Subscribe to Morgan Film Fan if you like to listen to my voice, or if you like my film reviews. I'll be back with more. Stay tuned for those. Check out what's coming up. Check out what's already on the channel. Until next review, have a good one. Take care and cheers.